We should all start highlighting the systemic anti-whiteism, which they call diversity, equity, and inclusion, to make it clear that anti-white racism isn't just occurring in isolated instances from a few individual black people or organizations, but instead, anti-whiteism is so pervasive, it has become woven into American culture.
Oh boy, 2025, the year that's gonna be known as trash as with a heavy dose of around and find out. Donald Trump's about to be president, climate change is out of the wazoo up, and billionaires are still running this country. The oligarchy is pushing forward full steam. The end of wokeness is upon us, as right-wing cucks like to say. Just because Donald Trump won and MAGA term 2.0 is 1 foot in the door, they think that we're back in 1941 Germany. Trump's term hasn't even begun, and the infighting between President Elon Musk, Trump's bottom Vivek Ramaswamy, and all these idiotic MAGA supporters is something that has put a Grinch-like smile on my face. In a nutshell, they're not happy with Elon and Vivek convincing Trump to change his mind on the H-1B visas. Cause Trump has been firm on his thoughts over the years on these visas. But not anymore. Listen.
He knows the system better than me. I know the H-1B, I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me. I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers.
As we speak, we're finalizing H-1B regulations so that no American worker is replaced ever again. H-1Bs should be used for top, highly paid talent to create American jobs, not as inexpensive labor program to destroy American jobs.
Why did you change your mind on H-1B visas, sir?
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people. We need smart people coming into our country. And we need a lot of people coming in. We're going to have jobs like we've never had before.
But sir, you said you changed your...
I'm just in the bleachers with my popcorn, laughing my ass off. I feel like God from Devil's Advocate.
And while you're jumping from 1 foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick ass off.
Even with Trump's win, they're saying that they're going to be combating wokeness even more now. Frankly, they want to put a stop to it once and for all, according to Marky Mark here.
Republicans' total victory on election night 2024 dealt a devastating blow to Democrats, Marxists, and wokeness, leaving many on the far left stunned into silence. And many moderate Democrats finally realizing what normal people have been saying for years.
Normal people? Normal people? Normal people? Yeah, normal people that think giving guns to teachers will stop 5-year-olds from being turned into ground beef by some that was bullied by somebody like Mark here. Normal people that run up to the hill to kill because of a legitimate election? You didn't see Democrats doing that, did you?
Their party and liberalism in general has gone off the rails, but we can't let up. If there's any chance of restoring our republic and bringing a sense of normalcy back to the United States, we have to send the woke-tards and anyone who spews their talking points back to the fringes of society where they belong. They were given an inch and they took a mile, so it's time to put an end to their cultural Marxism once and for all.
Bro, you won. You won. What else do you want? To take more human birthrights away? Is that what you want? Isn't that the plan all along for y'all? And I never got this, but why does something bother you so much about somebody's private life that literally has zero effect on you? That's the point that is mind-blowing to me. I'll never understand that.
One simple tool that everyone should use to combat the craziness is turning their terminology against them by linguistically hijacking leftist buzzwords. When they talk about white fragility, point out black fragility, which I would define as discomfort and defensiveness on the part of some black people who live in a predominantly white culture due to fixating on long since past injustices which they never experienced and weren't experienced by anyone in their family alive today, causing them to imagine racism where none exists and pine away for living in a culture that is predominantly black instead.
What you just heard, I blame on 3 things. Trump, the Republican Party and its members, and the United States educational system for not teaching its citizens the truth behind this facade that racism doesn't exist in the United States. Even though there wouldn't be a United States without the exploitation of everyone but white people. This dude is so comfortable with his racism that he got in front of a camera, hit the record button, and recorded himself basically saying that black people never experienced racism in the United States. Seeing someone living in a completely different world than me is mind-blowing. It really is. This dude's living in a world where make-believe, propaganda, and hearsay are their number one thing. That's what runs their reality. But let me go back to that definition of his of black fragility. He says that black fragility is the discomfort and defensiveness on the part of some black people who live in a predominantly white culture due to the fixing on long since past injustices which they never experienced and weren't experienced by anyone in their family alive today, causing them to imagine racism where none existed. Imagine racism where none existed? Cause them to imagine? First of all, white culture doesn't exist, so shut the up with that already. And if it did exist, it's just raisins in your potato salad with no seasoning white culture. And I want no part of that shit. But every time I make a Marky Mark video, I realize that this man has no clue what reality is. He has no idea what the real world is about. I don't think this motherfucker has grown up. This is a child in a man's body. This neo-Nazi, neo-racism shit has become a norm since Trump. Instead of them being racist to you in public like they used to, now they go on the internet because they don't have any balls to do it in your face. So they have to go online and do it because they know if they did it to you in public, they'd get arrested for a hate crime. Motherfuckers like him are so racist, they go online and make up definitions of that doesn't even exist, like black fragility. That's not a thing. If this long neck racist Nazi here is gonna throw this little buzzword at us, then I'm gonna throw one right back at your dumb ass. This, my friends, is the face of white privilege. This right here. A white man got on the internet, pulled his 2-inch out that hasn't seen a in years, opens his mouth and says black people have never experienced racism in the United States. If you're white and you think that way, know that you're a neo-Nazi, white privileged, white supremacist, abysmally uneducated piece of shit.
When they whine about whiteness or white normativity, they just bring up their white envy, which is when black or other non-white people who live in a predominantly white culture feel envious of the society because their ancestors lack the skills, knowledge, or possessions of others in the dominant culture, often resulting in resentment and demands for reparations instead of accepting personal responsibility for their own situations today and working to improve their lives through hard work, discipline, and other ethical means of achieving success and happiness.
Bro, where the are you getting these buzzwords from? Are these the woke words on the right? White envy? Who the is envious, you goofy motherfucker? I went back and reread that definition of white envy, and he mentioned that white culture is the dominant culture? White culture is only dominant because of colonizers like you, Mark. If you see white people in parts of the world where they naturally wouldn't be, that's what he means by dominating culture. It is a quote-unquote culture that was forced onto many people, a culture that destroyed many lives. I'm in the United States because of white culture, and it's bullshit. Racists like this like to say that white culture is this bouquet of roses, when it's more like a toilet filled with diarrhea that was just forcefully ass blasted into.
When they talk about the need for more diversity, just call them anti-white. Don't play into their semantical games by acknowledging their made-up buzzwords and ridiculous false concepts. Every time they use their cultural Marxist terminology, use linguistic judo and turn it back against them.
Okay? Call us anti-white. I don't give a I'm white and I'm anti-white. What you gonna do about it? I'm sick of motherfuckers like this just puking their racism around and making it sound like it's normal. And I know you're not saying that we have made up buzzwords when yo ass just brought 2 of your own buzzwords. Racist buzzwords. And you know, you can try and use your linguistic judo. We'll just use somatic jiu-jitsu and beat the out your ass. We've been using that for decades, Cupcake. You're just new to the game now with your little buzzwords. Logic and reality will always apply 2 chops to your throat.
Doing this saves you from wasting your time engaging them in an argument about why they're wrong and insane, because these people aren't going to follow logic. They're illogical. And just chuckle at them, laugh at them, mock them. Don't take their concerns seriously.
Oh, I needed that, Mark. I really did, man. I did. You can't be serious, man. The word logic and right-wingers go together like lamb and tuna fish. And I mean that in the literal way possible.
We should all start highlighting the systemic anti-whiteism, which they call diversity, equity, and inclusion, to make it clear that anti-white racism isn't just occurring in isolated instances from a few individual black people or organizations, but instead, anti-whiteism is so pervasive, it has become woven into American culture.
Systemic anti-whiteism? You people really want to be victims, don't you? Y'all love being victims. I mean, we can make y'all victims if you want. That's not hard at all. You don't want to make that a reality, do you? I hope some goes down in this country where motherfuckers like Mark here really get the full effect of what it means to be a victim. I wish more anti-whiteness was woven into American culture. Maybe more things would progress. We're in this situation in America because of white people. We have no universal health care because of racist pieces of like him boasting about racism doesn't exist. Okay.
And again, the term anti-whiteism needs to become the common word used in place of racism when talking about anti-white racism because of the deeply rooted associations and preconceptions that people have with the word racism. Just invoking the word racism always conjures up a frame that it's something white people do to non-whites. And the very word is basically an anti-white slur. So a completely different word should be used when talking about anti-white racism, or at the very least, a clear distinction be made by describing it as anti-white racism, not just racism.
I need you to know that there is no such thing as racism towards white people. It doesn't exist in the United States. Never has been, never will be, never gonna happen. You can't be racist in a country to a group of people that's literally running that country. It doesn't work. To see racists openly get on the internet, film themselves explaining how racism doesn't happen to black people, that they made that up or something, and that white people are actually the ones experiencing said racism that apparently doesn't exist. Mark Dice here is the personified definition of the racist right-wing white man.
That is, as long as the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and Wikipedia don't hijack the term and get a false definition to stick by claiming it's a white supremacist code word, which they will likely attempt to do, just like they've done with It's Okay to Be White, cultural Marxism, and white pride.
This dude is virtually sucking racism's right in front of us. You can literally feel the dude's racism glooming over him like a disease, waiting to pounce on you while you're not looking, which is very common for right-wing men like him. You know, to pounce on you without telling you.
Even mentioning the percentage of black people in relation to the percentage of violent crimes they commit in the United States, i.e. 1350, is deemed a numeric hate symbol by the thought police.
What he just said is a lie, a straight lie. I'm sick of explaining this. Just Google it yourself, man. It's in black and white. It's in English. This dude is a mother liar. More white people commit violent crimes than black people. That is a statistical fact. I don't care about the percentage. You and your percentages. White people commit more violent crimes than black people. Period.
When the left mentions white privilege, turn it around on them and point out that black privilege is actually the centerpiece in our culture now, since black people are put on a pedestal.
Oh, shut the up. I'm not even gonna let you go any further with that nonsensical white supremacy made up shit. You can suck the fattest part of my and I mean that sincerely. For the next 2.5 minutes, I want you to pause this video, take out your phone and stare at the time for exactly 2 minutes and tell me how long that felt. And I bet it'll feel real long. Cause that's how long this little boy here went into detail on how thugs, drugs, and victims are the main aspect of black culture, how they get lesser sentences or just probation so that the court doesn't look bad for demeaning them because they're black. Black people have their own college fraternities and TV channels and production companies, and how they don't have white-only anymore. The high rate of single black mothers in the United States and how it's apparently their fault for being a single black mother, when that's statistically not true at all. It's 37% of white single mothers to 29% of black single mothers. This dude is not living on the same planet as we are. I'm serious. This man is living in La La Land, in the utopia of contradictions. His video was nothing but 8 minutes of what I apparently thought was him talking about ending wokeness. And as always, it turns into brutal racism. I'm gonna wrap this up by saying one thing, and I'm sorry, but this is the reality of it. You cannot be racist to white people in the United States. You cannot. That doesn't exist. It's like saying Palestine are the oppressors. Verbatim. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this. Now that Trump's president, they're gonna be pushing this racism more and more and more, and we have to stop them. You see racism on the streets? Do not let them get away with that. Confront them. Call them out. Humiliate them like Marky Mark said if you have to. Them. But if you need more of my series, The Ghost Effect, check out my next video right here. And if you can, friends, please support the channel on Patreon. I will leave those links, as always, right here and in the description below. Come get early access to all of my videos. Come talk to us on my private Discord. Every day we talk about this kind of shit all the time. I hope to see you there. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I am out.